Welcome to this explainer. Look, we are going to completely transform what is honestly a pretty dry, stressful topic, inventory management, into a dynamic masterclass on retail profitability. If you're managing physical goods, you already know inventory is the absolute lifeblood of your business. But man, it is a massive balancing act. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can stop guessing and start knowing exactly what is happening in your backroom.
Let's kick things off with a question I know every busy retail owner faces. Are your stock levels keeping you up at night? Seriously, it's a very real anxiety. Between placing orders, receiving shipments, and trying to figure out what is actually selling out there on the floor, inventory can easily feel like this monster you are constantly trying to feed. But it really doesn't have to be that way.
You see, it's the ultimate Goldilocks problem. On one hand, having way too much stock just eats up your crucial capital. It sits on shelves, gathers dust, and ultimately kills your profit margins when you have to mark it down just to get rid of it. But on the flip side, having too little stock is just as dangerous. A customer walks in, wallet out, ready to buy, and you don't have the item? That kills customer loyalty and guarantees a lost sale. You need that inventory to be just right.
So here is our roadmap today to get you from chaos to control. We're covering the Inventory Balancing Act, setting up your system, mastering the counting process, tracking your key metrics, and finally, forecasting future demand.
All right, part one, the Inventory Balancing Act. Let's start with the foundational step of figuring out your specific needs before you ever spend a dime on a new system.
So the very first thing you need to do is audit your own business. Before you even look at software, build your inventory wish list. Ask yourself, do you run out of stock often? Do you need a system that runs on an iPad while you literally walk the store floor? Do you need it to talk directly to your accounting software or sync up with your online cart? By mapping out exactly what integrations and automations you actually need right now, you position yourself to stop reacting to crises and start predicting your own success.
Moving on to part two, setting up your system. Let's look at how to choose and implement the actual tech that's going to run your store.
Okay, take a look at this cautionary tale from Michelle Wales at Conscious Vibes. It proves exactly why you absolutely must move away from local spreadsheets living on a single laptop in your back office. Think about it. When that computer crashes, gets spilled on, or gets stolen, your entire business intelligence just vanishes. That is a terrifying vulnerability.
And this is exactly why modern retailers are moving to the cloud. Cloud systems keep your data off local hard drives, sure, but they do so much more than that. They enable real-time communication. Take the graphic t-shirt brand Raygun, for instance. They've got brick-and-mortar stores and an online shop. By using an integrated cloud solution, their physical sales automatically update their online stock. That prevents the absolute nightmare of selling an item online that somebody just bought in-store 5 minutes ago.
Honestly, modern tools make this whole setup incredibly simple. You can just zap products straight into a tablet, making clunky manual data entry a thing of the past. Once your product names, your SKUs, costs, and images are all centralized in a sleek cloud system, you are actually ready to manage your floor.
Which brings us to part three, mastering the counting process. Because having the software is really only half the battle. Now we need the human procedures to maintain perfect accuracy.
Look, having shiny new cloud software means absolutely nothing if the physical items on your shelves don't match the numbers on your screen. You have to endure the dread of a physical count. Step 1, schedule this outside of business hours. You just can't accurately count while you're selling. Next, get your digital scanners ready so you avoid pen and paper mistakes. Enlist and train your staff. Then count systematically. Finish one whole section before you even think about moving to the next. Finally, tally it all up and compare it to your system. Moment of truth right there.
Now, if shutting down your entire store for a massive counting event sounds like an absolute nightmare, cycle counting is your saving grace. It lets you catch errors immediately by just continuously counting small portions of your inventory, maybe daily or weekly, without ever interrupting your regular operations.
But how do you figure out exactly what to cycle count? Enter the ABC method. This is a highly systematic way to prioritize things. You put the top 20% of your items, your heavy hitters and fastest moving goods, into Group A, and you count them the most frequently, let's say 8 times a year. The next 60% go into Group B, counted a bit less. Your bottom 20% goes into Group C, counted the least. This ensures you're actually spending your valuable labor hours verifying the stock that drives your revenue.
All right, part four, tracking your key metrics. Time for the advanced retail math that truly separates the amateurs from the pros.
Seriously, write this formula down. Gross margin return on investment, or GM ROI. Knowing exactly how many dollars you get back for every single dollar invested in a product is the secret engine of profitability. If your gross margin is 55 grand and your average inventory cost is 30 grand, your GM ROI is 1.83. That means for every dollar you sink into inventory, you're earning $1.83 back. You want to track this constantly so you know which products are actually pulling their weight.
Look at how Adam Watson applies these metrics in the real world using the good old 80-20 rule. He looks at his system every single Monday and focuses entirely on the 20% of his products that generate 80% of his profit. By tracking that product performance, he makes sure he always has 30 days of stock for his absolute winners, optimizing his cash flow perfectly, and he immediately discounts the slow movers to get him out the door.
Unfortunately, your metrics also have to account for shrinkage. Yeah, that's the industry's nice little term for the agonizing realization that you have less stock on hand than your software says you should. We're talking loss due to employee theft, shoplifting, administrative errors, or even supplier fraud. It's super helpful to audit your business against industry averages like these ones from the National Retail Federation. Say you run a grocery store. Average shrinkage is pretty high at 3.6%. But if you're in apparel and your shrinkage is hovering around 3%, well, you immediately know you've got a major security or administrative problem on your hands because the apparel average is only 1.2%.
Another vital metric is stock turn. Basically, the higher your stock turn, the better you are doing at selling merchandise without tying up cash in overstock. If your average inventory is 25 grand and you sell 100 grand worth of goods a year, your stock turn is 4. You sold through your entire inventory 4 times. This number right here is the heartbeat of your retail health.
Finally, Part 5, Forecasting Future Retail Demand. We've set up the system, mastered the processes, and tracked the metrics. Now it's time to put on your fortune teller hat.
I love this strategy from Jason McIntyre over at Christmas Elves. Being a seasonal retailer, he literally gets one shot in February to order his stock for the upcoming Christmas season. Buy too much, he loses margins to discounts. Too little, he loses sales. So he runs what he calls velocity reports. He looks at exactly how fast specific items are selling so he knows precisely how many units to reorder.
The real secret sauce here is combining hard quantitative numbers with qualitative customer conversations to predict the future. Jason didn't just look at a spreadsheet. He noticed a trend in his data showing people were ditching white Christmas trees in favor of green trees with fake snow, flock trees. Because his system caught that trend early, he totally avoided buying a bunch of unsellable white trees. Plus, he actually went out on the floor and talked to customers to ask what they wanted to see next year.
So, let's bring it back to you. Take a moment to ask yourself this looking at your own business. With the right cloud system, a rock-solid accounting process, and a true grasp of metrics like GMRI and stock turn, you really don't have to guess anymore. You can transform your backroom from your absolute biggest source of stress into a razor-sharp competitive advantage. So think about it. Are you controlling your inventory today, or is it secretly controlling you?